Hello, and welcome to Weed and Grub.
Wait, you really thought they were different flavors?
Millie P, as they say.
Who says that?
I don't know. I say that.
Oh yeah, I heard some. I like Millie P. It's a good slang term. Don't. I'm deflecting myself from the fact that you thought Fruit Loops had different flavors.
Yes, my mind was just blown to discover that some people think they don't, because you're all fucking wrong. Fruit Loops absolutely have different flavors. The purple ones are grape. The red ones are strawberry.
Okay.
The green ones are grass flavored.
Yellow.
The yellow ones are pea flavored.
So we have pea, grass, strawberry, and grape.
You know, it's taste the rainbow.
That's Skittles. Oh God.
That's a hot start.
Yeah.
A hot start with hot guests.
Yeah, we should get to them. Well, we've gotten to one.
Yeah.
We already got her laughing. Okay, here we go.
Okay, what
Fruit
do we got?
Loops supposedly. Oh, the word supposedly. Interesting. Tastes like a blend of orange, lemon, lime, apple, cherry, raspberry, and blueberry.
Yeah, see?
No grape.
No grape.
They're Fruit Loops. Oh, so not pea and grass.
Yeah.
I did get that wrong.
But the supposedly
I mean,
is
pea is a
tricky.
fruit, so depending on where you are.
How so?
It's just, you know, it comes out of your body and then you eat it and it tastes good.
And there's a nut inside.
Mary Jane, do you want to start over, or are you good with this
I'm
intro?
good. I'm good with this intro.
We have a 30-second head start. We can roll with it.
In honor of our guests, it's kind of a loose moose.
Yeah.
Because we do have fabulous guests who we will get to in a moment. But for them, just starting off up top. Hi, Mike.
Hi, what up, Mary Jane?
How's it going, Mike?
Amazing start. Welcome to Weed and Grub, everyone. This is a podcast about comedy,
Cannabis,
cooking,
culture,
calling shit out,
and pea-flavored candy, evidently.
Oh my God.
Sorry for that,
We're
everyone.
talking about pineapple and cum.
Yes, that's what I meant.
You
Thank
were confusing piss and cum.
I was just confused that some people drink piss and think it tastes good, but instead is that you're supposed to eat pineapple and then your ejaculate tastes delicious, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
I wonder if this is anyone's first episode of Weed and Grub.
Yeah, well, if it is, it's probably like somebody listening with their kids on the way to dropping them off at school.
Weed and Grub Friday night podcast. Your Sunday night slow jams shortly afterwards. But first, your PDA on.
Yeah.
Do you drink your pineapple juice prior to ejaculation?
We gotta introduce our guests because you're here. You're on air with us. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Sharina, Joe, all the way from the AK.
Get in on those mics.
Get in on the mic.
We're in.
Hi.
We're
What's
up.
going on, y'all?
Well, I think you just landed us a deal at Sirius with that smooth late night Weed and Grub voice.
Late night with Weed and Grub, Mike and Mary Jane. Archie, are you with us, buddy?
So I'm going to prompt you very quickly because I know you can do it, but Mary Jane gets DMs asking her to say specific foods because she has a very good radio voice. And I feel like the two of you together could do food porn audio.
We could just go back and forth and be like, lobster cream butter pappardelle.
Ooh. Bisque fondant.
Ooh. Tiramisu.
Sweet strudel icing.
Piss flavored cereal.
Do you mix your cereals? I'm sorry, I have to ask that real quick. Interject.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm wondering. Is that why your Fruit Loops have an actual grape taste? Because you're doing.
Well, you know, I grew up in a puritanical cereal home where my dad ate shredded wheat every morning and my mom ate grape nuts every morning. Very fucking academic, weird, boring house. I was not allowed to have sugary cereals. So when I broke out, when I ran away from home when I was 13 for the first time, I went over to a friend's house and I fucking mixed it up. I had the Lucky Charms, I had the Fruit Loops, I had the Frosted Flakes, I had fucking all of it. I discovered I really actually do like Honey Nut Cheerios. They are delicious and they're not bad for you. But yeah, like cereal was my like fucking first foray into things that kind of got me high when I was a child. So.
2% milk?
Full fat on the cereal.
Mine was 2% and rice checks. That was it. That's all we had in the house. Rice checks, and if it was your birthday or something, maybe Frosted Flakes. Maybe. But just like the single serve.
Yeah.
Yeah, just those little boxes.
Yeah. You don't want to get too crazy. You know, I don't want to overdo it.
But those little boxes were so special. They're like the little airplane bottles of vodka of the cereal world, right?
It's like, don't unleash the beast. Like, don't do that. Let's not do that in this house.
And if you were MacGyver, you could lay the box on the side and like use it as a bowl somehow. Sort of like the way that some of those people rip their cupcakes in half, you know, and
or a Frito pie in a Frito-Lay bag.
Or how banana can become its own holder, as we've seen with you, Mike.
Yeah. Well, should we do that video now or like hold on a second?
I feel like we need to hold on and up top just do a couple plugs first.
Let's do a couple plugs.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to go around because we all have things to plug.
Let's plug them.
Let's plug them. And I didn't even give you guys a proper intro because it got so sexy so quickly.
Slithered into this app sideways.
Fantastic. So, okay. Very quickly, Mary Jane, what do you have going on?
Please, everyone, come and check out my show on October 5th if you're in Venice, California, or anywhere near Los Angeles. Drive in. It's a free show. There's free sandwiches. There's free weed. There's comedy. I'm going to be dressed as a beaver doing jokes about feminism. It's on my Instagram. And then also I have a Substack. I would love everyone to sign up for newsletter, sandwich recipes.
Where can they find your Substack?
Also in my bio. It's the Mayo for me on Instagram and TikTok.
Nice.
And that's it.
Follow me at Glazer Boohoo. The only shows I want to plug right now coming up are at the Comedy Store on Wednesday, October 11th, 10:30. And then Friday the 13th of October, we're going to have a spooky Halloween Hollywood Improv Lab show at 9:45. And there was one other. Oh, and then also I'd like to give a huge shout out to my Cobb salad joke. Dianne Feinstein died today, which also is the death of one of my favorite jokes I've ever done about how Cobb salad was invented after she was born. And so I just want to give a shout out to all of the people who like DM me today and they're like, dude, heard about the Cobb salad joke. So
you woke
sorry.
up to that?
Yeah, like people being like, so sorry for your loss. And I was like, what loss? And they're like, your joke.
Your salad's gone.
My salad joke is gone.
But let's hear what you had to say afterwards.
Oh, so I wrote a new one for today only. And it is, now that Dianne Feinstein is in the ground, she will helm the Dems through grassroots leadership.
Jesus Christ. I would say too soon, but
nah,
that's perfect.
Oh, what? You think if she was 91, maybe it would have been more appropriate?
I'm just trying to accord a political legend a little bit of respect in the wake of her passing, but also like straight up.
Okay, but I know we have more plugs to get to, but real talk. Mm-hmm. We were talking on the drive over here about Dianne Feinstein, and we were both in agreement that she has an incredible record up to a certain point, and then it's time to open the door for the next generation to come in and take over that baton. Would you agree with that?
Yes. If you're being wheeled around with a bad case of shingles and your daughter has power of attorney over you, you shouldn't necessarily be, in government anymore.
Right.
I totally agree with that.
But she was also, you said, the first mayor of San Francisco.
That's
female mayor.
Yes.
Like she did cool shit.
She could have been the first mayor of San Francisco, given her age. Anyway, she broke some barriers and she did some amazing things policy-wise. So shout out to that.
She did nothing better than my Cobb salad joke is what I'm hearing. Those are my plugs. What about you, Sharina?
Man.
Where can everyone find you? We'll get into massage therapy in a bit, but...
Gotcha. First, can find me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we haven't even said your full name.
Hello, everybody. I am Sharina Straughn from Alaska, born and raised. Fairbanks originally. Shout out to everybody from Fairbanks, my family and familia there. But I'm also a licensed massage therapist in Anchorage, Alaska. If you want to follow me on anything, you can find me on Needs Met LLC.
That's so
on
hot.
Instagram. KNEADS, because I want to need you like dough on that table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do another plug now too? Oh man, I got a lot of plugs.
Oh, okay.
First shout out to Lady Gray, Soldat, and a female-owned crew from Alaska as well. We got some treats we brought in from them.
Yes.
Shout out to Ben and Lacey from Top Hat Concentrates with the Concentrates crew. Hey everybody.
Love Top Hat.
My fellow massage therapist that I heavy fuck with hard. Michelle Resinger, Heather Gableman. My whole office at Tees and Chiropractic.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's your crew up there.
That's my crew. They can get it and they can give it. So
awesome.
Soft to chill, your first time to more PT, like I'm still going to get you a massage, but we're going to do some work with it too to get you back going and running. So
I'm going to crack into these Lady Gray Medibles that you brought because these are mocha chocolate chunk cookies that are, you said vegan?
Yes, vegan friendly.
I'm so excited.
Did you say Medibles?
Did I say Medibles? That's what's on the package.
I love that.
Call
That's
it
their name.
Medibles.
That's right.
That's rad.
Yeah, they also do amazing flour as well and concentrates.
Lady Grey.
Lady Grey. I'm not gonna lie, I melted mine a little bit with some
Oh
marshmallows.
my god, I'm so bad at childproof packaging. There
And
we
it was
go.
so good.
That sounds really good.
Delicious.
Oh, these are sticky and fucking dank. Yes. Oh yeah.
They're pretty great. They're award winning.
You know, the thing about cookies I find that's so tough about Medibles and packaging is that they just get so dry and
So
crumbly.
quick. Yeah.
This is moist. And there's no weedy taste. I don't know what they're making it with, but like they really, and there's even a little minty, like
Yeah.
oil
There's
in there,
this
maybe a
whole,
little
like
peppermint.
all of the
Fuck
cannabis industry, I feel like in Alaska, when it comes to like those type of products, the edibles, people were making them and it was decriminalized for so long that it wasn't like a lot of people jumping into the game to try to make money. It was people that were like, let's just make ourselves legitimate so we don't have anything to worry about. And these were the same edibles you were finding on the traditional legacy market forever. And now they're just available. They're tested. It's regulated. It's great.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
And that was a great intro to hear from you, Joe.
Oh, thank you. I'm Joe.
I love this episode.
Yeah, it's
good,
great.
Joe, good.
My name's Joe. I'm a cannabis person. I don't know what to say.
So many hats.
We do a lot of things. I do stand-up comedy. I'm a brand director for Catalyst Cannabis, not the California Catalyst, the one in Alaska. We have 3 stores, so we're not nearly as large as them, but we try. Other things I can plug, if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Icebeard Comedy
What?
on all the socials. I do some shows every now and then. I don't know when this will come out, but we have a show Saturday at the Improv. If you guys want to check it out. If you're in Alaska, next month we have a Halloween show at the Broken Blender,
Ooh.
put on by Rubber Ptarmigan, October 21st. It'll be a cool time. Yeah.
Fuck
It's gonna be a
yes.
nice little roast battle. I'm excited to see this.
Oh.
Comedians dressing up as certain characters and having a roast in that character.
Oh,
It's like if you were a
Phenomenal.
werewolf and I was a witch, I'd be like, I would cut your
What?
toe off to make a beef stew or something. I
damn. Oh my
mean,
God.
what do witches cook? Wolves? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also one more plug. I'm sorry, can I?
Mhm.
This lovely. I would say her name is Fat Trophy Wife. A lot of
Yes.
men know her.
Yeah.
AK-49.
Yeah.
Y'all done fucked it up, bro.
Yep.
But,
Shout out to my sister, Fat Trophy Wife,
Ow, ow.
aka Ray Howard.
She's an amazing rapper, esthetician, salon. Where's she at now? Diamond Mall
Sheer Excellence Salon in the
Excellence.
Diamond Mall.
In Anchorage?
in
That's
Anchorage as
Also,
well.
shout out to her fashion.
Doe.
Yo, craziest, coolest fashion in the world.
She's
And-
hot. But like,
Fellow
Fat Trophy Wife,
Archie.
you a thickums now. I'm just going to say that on air. You a thickums now. I love it. She's a little thick. Woo, spicy.
And I was going to say also that she has a fellow Archie. She's a fellow traveler with another Archie,
Yes.
Archie the dog. We were looking at pictures last night. Alaskan Archie is a dachshund.
Cute.
He's cute.
Yeah, he's a nervous dachshund. Also dominated by a cat, much like Archie was with Bobo.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Joe's
Fantastic.
cat, Scotch whiskey. He's home. We miss you, Scotches.
Oh.
But they got along very well. That was great. Oh, one more plug.
What?
Birthday.
Shout out to my daughter. It's her birthday today, actually. She's not here. She's back home with her mom. She's turning 16. So
Sweet 16.
Happy birthday, Jalen.
girl.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Jalen.
16 is the coolest age. Like you get to say some real stuff when you're 16 and nobody can tell you anything.
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
right.
That's like the
You
magic
get it all
number.
figured out.
Yep.
You
Mhm.
know what you want in your life.
I'll sell her a fake ID if she
How
needs to be
easy it
21
is.
right
Yeah.
now.
Your fucking hips don't hurt yet.
No.
Oh my God.
You can
The
jump up and
realness.
down all night, you
The
know.
You can
realness.
sleep on both sides and not worry about it. You know?
Eat whatever you want right now and just like, it's cool.
Yeah,
It's
I lived
cool.
on bagels for like 6 years.
Yo, which flavor?
Poppy seed, yeah, mostly your sesame seed in Montreal. I was just poor and I was an actor in Montreal, and
Frozen bagel?
no, fresh in the Montreal bakeries. It was just like what I could afford when I was in theater school. Was I just if I lived on bagels now, I would look like a bagel, but at the time I looked fine. I think I looked cute.
Damn carbs.
16.
Dang.
Yeah. Wow. Well, happy birthday.
Happy
That's right.
birthday.
Yeah.
We all met because I got to go to Alaska and do stand up 3 different times on 3 different occasions, but only hanging out with the people I loved. And so I'm so glad that you are here in LA for the first time.
My first. Yeah. Ooh.
So come on, let's be real. You've been here for almost 48 hours?
Yeah, a little over 48 now.
Okay. And I know, like, for me, Alaska is a place that I would love to live last time I was there. both of you were like, when you moving here? When you get in the
Yeah,
house?
when
What's
you-
going on? So
I got
when are
real
you?
estates too.
So when are you moving? When are you moving here? When are
Fucking
you?
never.
Yo,
Not ever. Never.
like our goal now is like to build a tiny house to settle down somewhere, pay like close to nothing for rent so we can travel and go places and like come here and hang out for like a weekend, do the improv, do the Comedy Store, shout over to Tennessee, go to Oakland, go here, go there, and then have a good time. But as far as moving here, bro,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. Like a little house to come visit. We can all share like an Airbnb rental. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
But no movings. I'm sorry.
That's Alaska's special.
Yeah,
It's not that it's even like too busy or anything here. And I don't dislike the people. The people get along just fine. Like the traffic is crazy and everyone cuts each other off. They don't use turn signals, but there's no fucking accidents. Like everyone's just aggressive, but no accidents.
like I'm getting over. Yeah, I'm making eye contact with you. Yeah, huh? It's happening. You're letting it happen. Good for you. Insurance rates, we know. We know. But also like here compared to Alaska driving, I think literally everybody in Alaska, like teens, should come down here to learn driving.
Yeah.
And then come back up because it's like out of nowhere someone's gonna come out and you don't know it. Same thing for up there because like moose.
Have you hit a
bears,
moose?
Shout out. Oh yeah, they come out of nowhere. They shoot out of the bushes and it's just like, what are you gonna do?
That's like a dinosaur. That's like a T-Rex coming out of the jungle.
They're
Those
huge.
things are so big.
Massive.
Do you
Yeah.
do you get moose car insurance? Moose insurance or something?
I mean, I think it's considered an act of God if you hit one, you know, if you survive,
That's the thing. There are like in Newfoundland, there are moose accidents all the time, and more often than not, the moose will like walk away. Not walk away. I mean, it'll probably go die in the woods somewhere, but
Yeah.
it'll
Or
it'll
else they'll,
still be alive, and the people will not.
If they get got, they have a list of people that can come up with their chainsaws and vroom, vroom, take that home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
moose meat.
First
Moose meat.
come, get on a list, come harvest this thing, chop it up,
yeah.
put it in your car.
But if you want to mic like, 13 miles out into the middle of nowhere with a couple of friends, ruck it up there. By all means, I have a lot of friends that go out and do that. Shout out, I could never do that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend that went out there with a broken ankle recently and he got it.
Like he went to hunt?
He went out with a friend to go hunting for moose and they came out with a bear.
They came out with
Wow.
a bear?
They came out the bear instead, but they got something. So they're going to split that puppy up and
What's the deal with that? Can you just go into the woods and kill things in Alaska? Because like
licenses and tags and
you
all
can
that's
get-
needed.
yeah.
Yeah. We're like #1 serial killer capital in the world. You can kill whatever you want out there.
It's no man's land. It's just like, hey, Mary Jane, if you hear a shot, just know I'm splitting it with you. Don't say nothing, and I got you.
that's
Straight up.
wild. Is it big? Do you know? Is it black bears, brown bears?
We have both.
Yeah, we have both, but I think they got a black bear.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you'll see black bears that end up in the town all the time.
I had one in my backyard when I first moved down to Anchorage. It would hop the fence every so often, drive our dog nuts.
Yeah, that coastal trail that I'm sure you hiked on, like to check out, like especially when you're downtown. It's near it runs along the
Earthquake
coast,
Park and everything.
and the bears will jump on it near like the north end where the base is, and then they just kind of follow it because it's not, populated, and then they end up like, oh, let's go see what smells over here, and then they wander into a neighborhood that's like near a school.
And then your ring alert's just going off. Bear in my yard. Bear and her cubs in my yard.
Mm-hmm.
Bear got my trash. Shit.
Wow.
Tore it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have cougars here.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of those. Those are exotic.
There were a bunch at the
creatures.
bar last night. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing. A rooftop will lure the cougars. You
So-
need to get them all in one place. Just
Yeah,
have a
Like,
rooftop bar.
we let our cat go out freely, Scotch, because like he's a rescue like crazy cat. He's down for down for everything. But do you guys let your cats go out wild free here? Is it?
Bobo, when we moved so Bobo was like the murderous lord of Brooklyn. And when we moved to LA, he went into retirement. He was sort of forced into retirement because he would go out and try and do battle with things. And I had to lock it down if I wanted to keep him alive. But the first few nights we encountered a lot of skunks, possums. There's a ton of urban wildlife in LA. It's actually pretty cool. And there was a cougar or a puma or a mountain lion. I can never keep them straight, but there was one that lived in Griffith Park until recently. And he was just last year finally died. But he was sort of like, everyone was really proud that we had this incredible animal right in the middle of the city because he had crossed freeways to get into Griffith Park. And then he just lived on,
It's a one-eyed cougar from
Kids.
Weeds.
yeah,
Kids.
children and chihuahuas.
Yeah. Probably a couple. Like there's been like those Ring videos of like people coming home and then turning the corner to get into their front door, and there's just a cougar sleeping across their front door, and everyone's like, oh my god, that's so fun, but like I don't think it would be great.
Yeah, for us
No.
it's like you go out to get a moose and it's just like, hey boss, I'm gonna be like 15, 20 minutes late.
Yeah, they'll just be in between you and your car, and you can't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
You can't even get near them. I heard you. There's like a moose will roundhouse kick you.
Yeah.
Like its leg will go so far around and back that you'll like shoot out of orbit.
Like, you know those crazy horse videos, people like they both just kick a man in the face?
Mhm.
Same. Just one though. Just 1 foot. Just
I was with a friend when she was attacked by a deer in Port Townsend, and we all made fun of her because it just seemed so ridiculous. But it was true. Yeah, front hooves just like tick, 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 and she like stumbled back. And the next day she showed us, and she had little hoof prints on her
scratches.
skinny little legs.
That's
It
wild.
was fucking wild.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Weed.
Weed.
yeah,
man.
Weed.
Segway King coming through.
Oh,
love
the
it.
weed. We love it. I love it. I'm
do you
late
love
to the
it?
game.
Who doesn't love it?
What do you mean you're late to the game?
I didn't start smoking till I was 26, going on 27. I'm 35 now. Shout out to my homegirl Kate. She got me started on that. Alicia and the rest of the girls in the crew.
I love first time stories because mine is so horrid that I still carry like knots in my back from how embarrassing it was the first time I got high. So did you have a good first experience?
Yeah, super great. Until like everybody fell asleep on me and I'm like the ride home. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
bet we're gonna get there, but like I'm wired. How did you guys fall asleep? And you're like, oh, we've been doing this for years. We can go to sleep off everything. And I start working in the cannabis industry, and people were telling me the same thing. I'm just like, I just love how everybody's system's so different and how they can take on that cannabinoid and like be up and crazy, or just like nothing phases them, but they're
Mhm.
still chill. That's what I love about it the most.
So did you find like the first time that you got stoned, how did it work for you? It just energized you?
It like made me like that hyper kid at the party, but you know you can't get too hyped because it's not your house.
Mhm.
So it's like, I want to go do things. All right, we're chilling though. Cool. We're gonna watch movies. We're gonna just watch movies. Okay.
Was it a joint? Blunt?
Blunsky. It was my first Dutch. Yeah. After that, I'm like, I could never smoke that again. My lungs, my chest. Oh.
Mm.
So then it was just Swishers, and I was okay with that. Then I went back to Dutch's, and then
Sorry, everyone. It's my. Hold on. Is that the CIA? Let me check.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
Diane Feinstein's people calling.
Nah, shit. Take it down. She
That
has
was
a
quick.
legacy.
To honor her legacy.
that's quick. DC's on it. Y'all got it, man.
Always listening.
You roll a great blunt.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You really do.
They also taught me that as well. Like, if you're gonna start smoking, it's cool. You can bring weed. Just know you're gonna eventually start rolling this yourself, and it's not gonna be always us around to help. Because I would literally like go to the weed store, go up to a plug, and hey, slide the tray over. Yeah. After a while, she would start, talking, rolling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She'd need you to.
I would keep just push my tray over. She's like, why am I rolling?
Oh, you'd
all
be
this?
asking her to roll
Yeah,
for
roll. I'm like,
you.
I
see.
can't do the. I don't know how to do my strong hands.
I feel like it's almost like an Alaska rite of passage type thing when you're entering the stoner world. They're like, cool, you're rolling blunts for the next 6 months. And then if you're good, you get passed.
Yeah, you know?
stay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the hazing. You're sort of like
Yeah.
getting
Yeah,
into
yeah,
the
yeah.
circle, and then you move up in the circle, and someone
Mhm.
else is rolling your blunts
Yep.
for
For
you.
sure,
And
for
then
sure.
someone rolls it backwards, you're like, oh yeah, you or me are friends for life.
Yeah, we're leveling up. We're leveling up. Yeah. I did a bunch of, speaking of weed, I hosted some cannabis hospitality tents this past summer, doing music festivals in Alaska. Shout out to Showdown and the Sundown Festival. Shout out to the people that put on Salmon Fest and Sacred Acre. A bunch of great music festivals, great people doing positive things for the entertainment industry in Alaska. I don't even know where I was going with that. Those were such like great experiences.
Yeah.
Because you're rolling blunts and you're hosting huge music festivals.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hanging out with like lots of musicians. Shout out to Brother Buffalo. These were some dudes that we were hanging out with all summer long.
Fuck with the fronto hard.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing when you start rolling stuff in tobacco all the time.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, it's a different level of high. Like the whole. Our ancestors were smoking things out of peace pipes and fucking with tobacco, fucking with weed, and then it gets turned into this modern version where we're rolling blunts with natural leaves, and like I don't know, it's a different high that feels much more like I'm doing something spiritual and meditating more than just like I'm getting super stoned, like, you know.
You like that combination. You're saying that the
He
combination.
likes
I love
spliffs.
it.
He loves spliffs.
I
I
love
always
it.
loved spliffs because, like, so growing up in Newfoundland, we only had hash. There was no flour.
Right.
And so it was always hash sprinkled in tobacco. That was your spliff. That was how you smoke. It was either that or hot knives.
Yep.
Hot knives in the basement. Shout out Doug Mason and your blowtorch. He
At
knows.
least it was a blowtorch.
Yo.
Yeah.
I definitely have done the hot iron where you put them on the kitchen stove.
Oh,
and do
for sure.
that.
I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
one time, my friend, I won't say his name because he might hear this, but he had slipped with the knife and he had like a full knife imprint with like the serrated edge. And the teachers were like, what happened? And he was like, oh, it's just a cold sore. They were like, okay.
Gnarly cold sore.
All right. But yeah, so the spliffs I had always loved. And then when you like travel in Europe, that's what, you know, in my experience, everyone was smoking. I don't know if it's changed now, but like you would just roll spliffs. But California is like no tobacco.
Yeah,
they're
nothing.
purists here.
Yeah.
And I miss it. I love the spliff. So
And then
it's
you
good
end
to
up
hear
in a
that.
lot of places too where people are like, hold on, why does this taste like this? And you're like, because there's tobacco. And they're like, I can't have any tobacco.
Oh my
Yeah, and you're
God.
I
like,
have
wait,
instantly
whoa.
cancer. No, it's not how it works.
instant cancer.
Yeah.
I
Because
don't
the
think.
leaf doesn't have any carcinogen. Like I imagine those leaves are pretty
Yeah, they're
pure,
just
right?
cured leaves. Yeah.
pure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Cured.
Oh, I didn't know that till just now.
Yeah.
I truly expected them to be like you're mixing a cigarette with weed.
No,
No?
I'm using leaf,
Yeah.
Fronto leaf, which
Fronto
is like a
leaves.
big tobacco leaf that's just been cured. They usually, harvest them, lay them out flat in between burlap sheets, press them for a while.
Do they put something on them to cure them? Do you know? Like, is there some kind of?
No.
There's nothing on there. It's just
Mm-mm.
pure tobacco.
I mean,
leaves.
you can get flavored leaves and
Cinnamon and
stuff.
Right.
sugar.
Yeah.
Maybe something like
Some
that.
people use
Piss flavored?
pipe
Piss
tobacco.
flavored.
Mhm. Yeah.
Pipe tobacco every so often. I like the vanilla pipe tobacco. Every so often I'll get a black and mild and I'll put a little bit of that. But like honestly, I never knew about spliffs until like I started hanging out with other shooter friends and boy squad. So next thing I know, I'm just like, I really don't choke out and cop out on blunts. This is weird. Like, oh yeah, it's the real stuff. Like, what's the real stuff mean?
Are you, when it comes to all of the different strains of weed that you have access to up in Alaska, do you have a lot of the different like dessert strains and like here, we went through like the gelato craze, right? And
Yep.
then like the GSC craze and all. Like, what are you seeing up there right now? What are your flavor? Are you like heavy on the desserts and exotics like we are here right now?
Oh,
Kind of. It sort of,
Hit and
we had a
miss.
competition last year where they split it up. Instead of doing indica sativa hybrid, it was put on by the Leaf magazine. So it was, like Fuels.
Alaska
the
Leaf
gelato.
magazine?
yeah,
That's
AK
right.
Leaf. What's
Yeah,
up, y'all?
shout out those guys.
Cool people. Tom, Wes.
Tom Bowers, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
yep.
Awesome.
Uh,
So they didn't do the indica and sativa categories?
they switched it up, based on like terpene profiles, where you get enough
Thank
of the
God.
same terpene profiles, then you're like, all right, well, these are like the fuel strains, the fuel gas,
These are the
diesel
cake strains,
Yeah, these are the
cheesy.
dessert strains, the exotic fruit strains,
Interesting.
which is, I feel like, obviously much better representation. Because if I know like that's a dessert and it's like those, I know how it's going to affect me because I've used this stuff long enough now,
How do you talk to other people about that? Because I feel like people ask us for our opinions
Well,
on it.
my move. My move is to shut up and let somebody talk themselves in a circle until they realize I know more than them.
It is.
Do you remember when I was telling you that from that person the other night? And then their eyes kind of like cross and they're like, you already know this, huh? And I was like, yeah. And then they're like, all right. And I was like, anyway.
I thought you were just accusing me of talking too much.
No.
Oh.
You taught me. You taught me
I just
a
got this. I
lot
was
about
like, oh,
like terps versus like sativa indica hybrid or
Yeah.
THC percentage being important. How terps is like the actual not like the knowledge we should be educating people on.
I feel like this is the new
Strongly
era
agree.
in which people can come and say like, what am I going to like? And we're talking about terps instead of the
for sure.
Mhm.
effects.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway,
Because we've
So-
both done bud tending jobs.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how we met, sort of. She was selling me weed.
I was his bud tender. What's up?
That's hot.
He was my favorite customer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whoa, and then like you were like, can I smell that? How's this?
Yeah,
And I was like, I'll let you smell anything you want to smell. Anything you want to smell, I got you. Anything you want to smell. And then next thing I know, they're like, COVID hit. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I was a carpenter, building stairs. I'm like, you built stairs. Like, the house is in the hills. I'm like, oh, you built stairs in the house is in the hills. Okay. Well, you should get a job in the industry. I mean, you come in enough, you know enough because being a budtender, pretty much they train you on when people come in, or they just figure out who your audience is at all. Because as comedians, we all know, like, you just gotta, I'm not a comedian, sorry if I had a little slip up there. They know. You gotta know what your audience and then gauge upon that for where you're going. So someone has come in, they've been smoking for over 20 years. They know exactly what they're kind of go for a high, or what their motive behind it is, to like, people are brand new, like, don't know anything. But
yeah,
they
so how
know
do
they
you talk to
smoked.
someone like that?
How do you talk to someone like that?
Yeah, like how when someone comes in and they're like,
Ask
I
them.
don't know what
a lot
I'm
of it
looking
is
for.
asking questions, and it is listening.
Here, I'll be a new customer, but we're not going to go on a date.
Okay.
Okay.
No promises.
Yeah.
That's how it started. That's how it legit started. Like, I'm not going to do this. It's not going to happen. You got me. Damn.
Hey, I'm looking for some weed. I'd love to try it.
What are you wanting to get out of trying some weed?
I don't want to get paranoid because I know it can make you anxious and paranoid. And I also want to like enjoy movies. I have a little bit of arthritis in my knee, and I heard from someone that it can help with that. But I'm not really sure. I just like don't want to be anxious, and I want to like feel better.
I'm probably going to lead someone like that into something that's a bit indica leaning, but like an indica leaning hybrid, which makes sense to people who are in cannabis, but people who don't know, it's so difficult to start explaining cannabis and the range of cannabis, the spectrum, just as I can imagine, like going to a medical school and you start learning about it's medicine, and all of these different terpenes do different things. So while I'm going to suggest this one thing, I want you to get a little bit and take it home and try it, and then let me know how it affects you, and then come back and we can change from there. The same as if you're going to your actual physician, they're going to prescribe something to you. Same like if you get an anxiety medication, they'll usually start you off with something chill that just like keeps your blood pressure low. Like everybody starts on 10 milligrams of hydroxyzine, and then you go from there depending on whether or not your body can tolerate it. And it's the same with cannabis. Like, we're going to start you with some sort of like, depending on what you come in and say, but some sort of hybrid that leans one way or another. And then if you're like, I needed a bit more, then we're going to try to find something that's more of a more pure sativa or a more pure indica, or it's going to be heavier and myrcene or something else that you need, or maybe you need a bunch of limonene because that's good for your inflammation that you're talking about.
And then, like, how do you want to consume it? Like, are you trying to inhale this? Are you trying to do some edibles? Are you trying to? I mean, because
honestly, these Lady Grays are delicious.
Yeah, this
I
is
would
perfect.
fuck with these any day. But yeah. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
I also just wanted to
And I'd also love to say
excuse me, I was
something.
listen.
Hey guys,
okay.
hey y'all, we have guests in the house. Come on.
I wanted to say that one of my favorite experiences of going into a dispensary in Alaska was being able to actually smell the flower and buy a gram of flower at a time, right? Like you can have a big jar that you can open up and you can let me smell. That's across Alaska. That's on Alaska law,
it's
right?
at the best stores in Alaska.
Yeah,
right.
In the beginning, it was all like it comes pre-done. You get a gram bag, and it's just you can't smell it. If anything, if you had that shop that had like a nug in the display jar, but if you didn't,
old nug,
but every so often, like it's unfortunate, but yeah, that's what we got to smell. I'm sorry, that's all we got. So
That's
you have
how
to
it is
and you
here.
have to trust, and then trust your bud tender and trust people that are buying, when people are selling and they're getting information like, oh well, we pre-packed it all for you guys. Sorry, but it tasted like a sweet mandarin orange, more clementine-y, had that kind of heavier gas taste towards the back, and they kind of get you a palate to like the high was super in my head. I was just squinting the whole time trying to listen to my girlfriend talk to me, and I just or I went on a 3-mile hike with my dog up the hill, and we had a blast, and I didn't feel any knee pain, neck pain, blah blah blah. Or like I felt all the pain, and I was heavy anxiety, but I slept really fucking hard.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to. You had things to say too. Sorry, Mike.
And now I have 2 things.
One is shut up.
Double up on this.
3 things. One is like, I love that you started with like the idea of hybrid leaning towards indica just as a baseline. One thing I notice here in LA, and maybe we'll experience at the festival tomorrow, but there's the people who, instead of like welcoming a newcomer in and being like, these terms are a little catch-all, they might not be the most accurate thing, but I'm not going to correct you for saying indica. I'm going to use indica because you might be familiar with it. And then we will get to a place where we can get deep into terp nerd knowledge.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to throw a bunch of shit at you that you've never heard of off jump from the very first time. And I feel like anytime anyone says like indica, sativa, or hybrid, especially here in LA, there's always that guy, that actually fuckface, who's like, actually, that's not an accurate representation. And you're just like, oh my God, dude, I'm literally trying to get someone who's curious about weed to be excited to try weed and not just curious. So I really appreciate the broad strokes to then get into the shadowing of the painting once we get there. Like that's a cool approach for a bud tender. And I wish that there was like more of that in my own personal experiences in dispensaries.
Yeah, we come like I said, we met. We worked at a place that's won a bunch of awards. It's a really high end company, but also like super small and like kind of craft cannabis style. I took you through the facility when we were up there. Shout out to the people at Enlighten. They kind of like, they taught me a lot about the industry and what's going on and how to talk to people about cannabis and talk to people who don't know anything. That was the place that I was shopping at. And that's why a big part of why I wanted to get into the industry was to help break the stigma. Like I have a 16-year-old daughter, I pay taxes, I'm a regular person. I coordinate fundraising efforts for like the homeless kids up there, for the Covenant House. I do food drives. Like we're cannabis people, we're regular people. Like I want to help break this stigma somehow. So that's why I started at that place. And then I moved, on, I hit a wall where I couldn't advance anymore. So I transferred companies to Catalyst. And like, it's also a place that's very much about educating and, teaching people this is more than just a plant you can use to get high. Like you can do all of these different things with it, whether it's like fight inflammation, treat different diseases that people have that they can't treat with like traditional or non-traditional, what is this, Western medicine. It's something that's cool. Like we have posters when you come into our newest store that are like 2x8 giant wall infographics that are like, this is a wheel that has all the terpenes on it, and this is like flavors that kind of relate to these terpenes, and these are effects that relate to also all these terpenes, so that you can, like as a new user, when you come in, I can help show you these things, or our bud tenders can, and then the next time we can talk about it and get more nerded out about it to help really dial in your needs. And
that's one thing I loved about Joe when he came onto the team, was like he knew a lot for someone who never worked in the industry. So I already gave him kudos for that. And then all of a sudden to his knowledge and what he could retain. But like, as he kept going and advancing on to his knowledge of like flour, to how it's grown, to how it's pressed, to how it's a rosin, to a sugar wax, he can go into exact all the details. I was a slow catch on for that because I never did dabs. I was just a flower girl. But I always considered him when he came in, he was just like, yeah, how's it going? Yeah. And he's like that advanced AP chem teacher. And I'm like hey, how's it going? Yeah, come on, I'll hold your hand. I got you. We're going to do that whole experience with each other. I have time. Everybody else is going to be busy with the rest of the store. It's just you and me. I don't care if it's line 20 deep. Joe, I'm sorry. You guys got that. I'm going to come over here and hold their hand and just help them with every little thing, just because some people are actually freaking scared and they come in there because they have state jobs. They have a parent that's strictly like, no go. Oh, I have children. And my people over here don't like it. My neighbors.
Yeah. So on that front, I wanted to ask about like how deep you are into the policy and regulations part, like how much that touches you as both consumers and people in the industry. Do you really have to pay attention? Because here in California, I know anyone who's in the industry is bone tired of how much fuckery there is at every level of government and bureaucracy in weed.
Yeah,
they're tired.
Totally.
How's it going in Alaska?
Grub Gazette. What's going on in the news?
This is the news this week.
News.
Yeah, tell us Alaska weed news.
How pissed off everybody is about the taxes in marijuana.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the taxes right now?
Oh, for us, it's $800 a pound, and the grower pays it before it ever gets to the retail. So.
Wait, that means they're paying a tax before it's even sold to make their money back?
Bingo.
Yes. Yep.
Whoa.
So
That's
frustration
right.
already checkpoint right there.
Whoa.
So in this race to the bottom that we really have going on, there's people that I saw, we have this PFD thing that comes out. Everyone's trying to sell cannabis products and do these huge year sale. And so I've seen wholesale prices for less than $2,000 a pound. So once you take out that $800, like best case scenario, you got $1,200 to cover your lights and feeding yourself. And like, what is going on?
So how much is an eighth? What's the range there? Like 45 to 70?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like my store, I think it ranges anywhere from 30 to like 60, 65 for decent stuff.
I was going to say in California, they had this cultivation tax that was like $154 before the product would even leave the farm, before the weed would even go anywhere. And they finally cut that because they were like, we've got to do something to alleviate the stress on these cultivators who can't make any money. It would cost more to grow a pound than they could sell it for.
For sure.
Is that anything that's being addressed in Alaska at that level? Like, are the state regulators trying to help growers?
Yeah, so we have a thing called I'm very involved in this as the brand director. So I watch all the meetings. I have friends that are on the task force and stuff. The governor put together a task force because enough people were making enough noise at the hearings where the governor was like, all right, well, I don't understand this because I don't use cannabis and I don't have the time to try to understand all of it.
Sounds like a great governor.
But yeah,
honestly.
he didn't just
I don't know what's going on.
But he's like, I want a team.
Yeah. So we put
team
together a
come
task
over.
force that has like all these people that come in together and put together recommendations. The tax is the number one thing that really needs to be changed because, we started with two different types of growing licenses. We have a large scale full cultivation license, and you can get a limited license. And the limited was intended to entice black market growers to leave the black market and come into the legal market. And they didn't know they were going to get hit with this $800 a pound tax, like right out the door, which is really frustrating. So once you start racking up that tax bill, you're going to pay it or you're just going to go back to the black market, like realistically. So they're either going to have to fix that or the legacy market's just going to consume what's been going on with the rec market up there again. Like
Get up to part to sell at that point too.
It's up for the next session. They're potentially going to vote to lower it. They did just sign into law a couple of new things that were about regulations. One of them relaxes advertising restrictions.
We're going the other way here. That's interesting.
What kind of makes sense? Like you guys have crazy posters outside of the
We
stores
don't
here.
have-
It's like
yeah.
everywhere and billboards and weed.
Yeah, and the restrictions they're considering signing into place. Newsom actually has a bill on his desk right now about restricting packaging, so there can be no animals, fruits, flowers, people, anything on packaging. Like taking away, like you could be a founder of a brand, you use your face to sell that cannabis, you will not be able to. So a lot of people are really protesting that as
That's
well.
wild.
They're like, I
So
made
there's
this.
different symbols to start.
Well, actually, if you have over $500 million and you're a white CEO in a blue collared shirt,
Bruh.
you are allowed to put your face on the packaging.
I bet.
You're damn well pleased.
So they're relaxing, you said?
Yeah, ours are
stuff?
pretty restrict. I mean, Alaska advertising laws are strict. We don't have billboards. That's one of our laws. Like we don't have billboards up there.
For anything?
There's no billboards.
We don't have what you guys like. That's
Gets in the way of the
lawyer now.
sky.
It gets in the way of the view. Like, why would you want to mess
Mountains.
up Mount McKinley, like, or Denali, or
Sleeping
any of
Lady,
these like
yeah.
great mountains, the views that you have? Like, cool. Let's just throw up a billboard, and then you can't see shit.
You got
like,
a snow berm in front of you, but yeah, look up to the sky.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
So what would be relaxed? The ability to actually...
I think we're allowed to have signs outside of our store as of October 8th. We'll be able to have like signs other than our restricted size sign that just says Catalyst Cannabis. Like,
Like you can put out a little sandwich board and be
mhm.
like,
We'll also be able to
pre-rolls, 2 for 1.
advertise in public spaces like on the bus, on the side of the bus where they have pharmaceutical ads. We'll be able to be there now.
Nice.
Which will
Not
be
just
dope.
your text message, just like, come by today. We're having a picnic / 3 gram joints for this XYZ price. So
And the biggest one I think a lot of people will be happy about is cannabis stores will be allowed to offer samples,
Wow.
which is completely illegal currently. But as of October 8th, apparently in Alaska, you'll be able to go into a cannabis store and get samples if the store should so choose.
Are they going to do a thing like here you have to pay a penny just to go through the
That's how we do it
regulations
now.
yeah,
system?
penny to pay
Yeah.
out.
That's how we do it now. But
Okay.
apparently it's going to be where we can do free samples.
Great.
So if I came in with my bad knee, my anxiety, and you were like, you should try this like indica hybrid, I might be able to try like a little
Little nug.
nug of it to
Yeah,
really
like-
see how it would go.
I mean, if it was my store, I'd throw you a half gram. Like, you're a first time customer, here's a half gram. Yeah.
Damn.
Nice.
I'd renew it again the next year too. Maybe quarterly. I mean, it's a half gram. It's a flower. It's literally money growing. Like
Yeah.
it's the
It's
tree
the
that
original
money
money.
grows on. Yeah, it's the original money plant. Like,
It does grow on trees.
it does.
What was your second question? I'm curious.
Yeah, you had two things.
Oh, one was just like really enjoying how that you broke down and invited me into a little more knowledge into cannabis, so we can keep learning more and more next time. And then I'm the segue king on this show, so I do terrible segues, but I try my best, but they're awful. But before I told you that nice compliment, Mary Jane was going to pivot into policy and what we're talking about now because she's an actual segue queen, and I stepped on it with my kingsmanship, and now I've derailed it twice.
Stepped on a potato last night.
It wouldn't be this podcast if it wasn't that dynamic. Fantastic. Well, I want to get into comedy too, and I think you're the one to tee that up and talk about it because like you guys have done some really cool stuff, both like on tour in Alaska, you coming down here, you're going to be on Mike's bill. I know Mike, you've like I don't want to set it up. Take it away.
Well, I think like for me, we all met at the Before You Die festival.
I was at that.
Shout out Cass.
Wow.
Shout out putting
Before
that
You
together.
Die.
Shout out Cass.
And that was a really special experience to come not only experience Anchorage and meet new people and be really well taken care of by Cass, who worked really hard at that festival, but also it is the kind of crowd that you will get an honest reaction about your comedy, good or bad, without a lot of self-reflection on if I'm allowed to laugh at this or not, is what I find. Like, it's a real no judgment. Like, I think there's a lot of judgment there. But I think in comedy, you're allowed to fly a bit. You're allowed to spread your wings and really say what you feel. And if it's funny, people will laugh.
It's the way you say it.
It's the way you say it. And I don't feel like a lot of Alaskan crowds, like, they don't just hear the word Democrat and all of a sudden they're like, oh, what the fuck is this guy about? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, great, what's your point? Like, let's go. I really appreciate that. I had a lot of like late night stoned drunken talks at Coots with strangers.
Shout out Choco Charlie's.
Yeah, I disagreed with all of them fundamentally, but at the end of it, there was no fist fights, there was handshakes, we all took shots together, and it was like a good conversation that not only they gave me the space through not interrupting me to speak my mind and be like, I disagree with that and here's why. But then in turn, that forced me to give them the space for why they felt that way. And I just really appreciated that as far as a community goes, where like free thinking is still available and actually celebrated and supported there. And that's how I feel about the comedy scene.
It is a lot like that.
Yep.
We went to an open mic when we landed here to go meet some friends and just observe, and it was very interesting to it was interesting to observe, like you're saying, the comedy is different. The comedy here is like way different. It was, I don't know, I'm not saying it's bad, it's just different.
Was it more like self-referential or like up its own ass?
I feel like it is, and it's sort of like topical probably to like local trending topics about things that are happening, which, so like as an outside observer, I was like, I don't get this stuff because I'm not from here. So, all right. But then again, maybe I don't know if people are going to laugh at the fact that, you know, in Alaska, we have a lot of like depression jokes because it's dark as fuck all the time. But I hear there's a lot of people depressed as fuck here too. So,
yeah.
I mean,
it's just the way you're going to present it, because depression, you can all agree about depression at one point in time. It's just how you can develop in them, like, oh, imagine you're in the negative 60 of Fairbanks, Alaska.
I don't know. You learn a lot up there in Alaska doing comedy because they're very honest. It doesn't matter. Yeah. If you're not funny, you're not funny, period. And they let you know just by not laughing. And then you don't want to do it anymore. Eventually, you just don't want to do it. And it's good when those people stop coming back.
Yeah, man.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's cool that you tried it. I'm glad you expressed yourself for a few weeks, but don't come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come back with better material if you're going to come back.
Sure.
Go practice. Go practice at home and then come back.
There's no pretense, right? Like, I really did feel when I moved to Los Angeles, one of the things that kind of freaked me out was that people would like be real. They would be like, they'd say, I love you or I miss you, like without even knowing me at all. And after a while, I came to understand that the way this town operates is a lot of like, you know, because you're sort of selling yourself as much as you're doing anything else. Like, you're here to be in the industry, and that comes with a lot of like, you know, but when that sort of falls away and it's just the comedy, like that is super refreshing to not have to like pretend.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's what I'm hearing about Alaska is like, yeah, it's just nobody's going to be like, oh my God, that was so funny when it wasn't.
They would say literally like, oh, that whole hour and a half set you had, I laughed at one of your jokes.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude, you wasted I could have been home canning salmon, and I'm here watching this shit. I have to get ready for the winter, dude. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, why are you looking at me?
No, I was looking at
my-
I know who I'm thinking about. No, nothing. No one in this room. Everybody's safe. Everybody's safe here.
When did you start doing comedy, Joe?
The year that the festival happened that you guys came to, like
18.
earlier
Oh,
in
shit.
that year. I mean, I'd always been like a fan of comedy. I was always my grandmother got me one of those TV VCR combo things that was like this big, like 11 or 12 inches or whatever. And it was from J.C. Penney. I remember that it just said J.C. Penney at the top. And I figured out how to program it, and I would record SNL because I wasn't allowed to watch it. And then I would watch it later and not tell my parents about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is your mom gonna watch this now?
Yeah. I mean, she knows since then, but like, yeah, that's how I was always a big
That's how you
fan of
got funny.
comedy. Big fan of comedy.
And if your daughter's listening, she should absolutely use that as leverage to get away with anything she wants.
100%.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
She
That's
is
who
her-
who did you like on SNL? Like Phil Hartman at the time, Mike Myers.
Dana Carvey and Mike Myers were on there a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
a lot
Yeah,
of Dana
yeah.
Carvey.
Such a heyday.
The
Yeah.
good era.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're just naturally funny, but I don't know why you're not getting on the mic.
I'm naturally funny on the fly. All my friends know this. Like, I'm a funny person. I'm fun to be around. But like, get me on stage is just like to try to remember how to make you laugh is something I don't know. Like, I'm more of a storyteller, and I can get you to laugh within a story. Massage, same thing. Like, people that stay awake and are interactive with me, we're telling jokes back and forth like the whole session. It's amazing. And I come out laughing. You're like, what the hell did you do in there?
Yeah.
Like, we released some stuff.
Yeah, you're in like the slipstream flow
Yeah.
state. it
But like,
sounds
I've had plenty of people like, you told me your partner is a comedian. Do you guys like, no, like I may give him like a bit or two of information, but that's not my job. That's not my lane to go over. And I always tell him to correct me when I'm wrong and like when I should not be knowledgeable, because this is not my craft. I know what mine is, and I respect his 100% because it's hard sometimes to see like, can I get an example for the last show you did?
Sure.
It was a lot of
Ooh, nervous sip. Here comes a
Yeah,
nervous
yeah,
sip.
yeah. I want to take a
I
drink.
always ask permission
Just in case.
Went to a event, and it was a members only kind of place.
Oh,
And,
that place. Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about that.
Uh,
I did a show at the Palmer Elks Lodge.
Shout out.
At an Elks Lodge.
My father brought me to the Moose Lodge in St. Louis, where I would drink Dr. Pepper, and he would try and like do business for work, and everyone was smoking Marlboro Reds, drinking heavily. And I remember one time Michael Jackson came on and they turned the channel, and I go, oh, what's that about? And my dad's like, I don't think we're coming back here. Similar place?
Yeah,
Similar?
yeah, that kind of vibe. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
which is like, I'm sorry, I'm born and raised there, so I'm just used to it. I'm used to being like one of, and I have no problems with it because I don't see that. I see you being a human, because the way we were raised is like, if you break down the side of a road and you were shitty to your neighbor, they don't gonna jumpstart your car. They don't say, well, that sucks to suck, and you're gonna help yourself out and call another friend to come help you. So like for me, I never saw it as being weird until like some situation we get to, but like being one of is cool at times too, because it's like, who's gonna laugh?
Well, what happened at the Elks?
It was just an interesting place, and that like she's saying, when she says one of, she means being the only black person that was around at all.
see.
And then I guess I would have been the next darkest person in the whole room.
I think the bartender, they had a one bartender.
Oh yeah, that's right. At the
And
end of
he
the
said it
night,
wasn't his
I was
crowd
like,
either,
I was
but,
like, I don't
you know.
really fuck with these people. He's like, I don't either.
oh no.
So
But-
what do you do as a comedian, and what do you do as an audience member?
He walked in, and the main host, Sabrina Speers, shout out because she's funny as hell too, came in and said, hey guys, just letting you know what kind of crowd you're going to be working with in case you need to work on your sets. So
In case you need to adapt this right now.
so like I always let him try to go in first, because like I don't know what kind of mindset he wants to be in, or if I'm going to interfere. Go to work. Go to work, honey. And I always come in after, because I like to have him tell some of his jokes and be again one of, and see who laughed. Like, man, and then like tell him like, you're okay to laugh at these jokes, people. And then every once in a while, someone will come up and say, "Are you black friends? Are you black people in here?" Like, yeah. Oh, we got one. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to be interesting how it goes from here on out. But like Elks Lodge, it was like I walked in and I was just have everybody look at me, did a little nod, hi. And I'm looking at my table with my friends, other comedians, and they're like scrambling, flipping through the book. And it's just like, as an outsider looking in, I didn't think, comedians had to change and adapt so much to their audiences as this one of like, you can't say dick, balls, pussy. You have to say junk.
Okay.
The up top. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of clean comedians out there that can get away with it seamlessly. And I love it. It's a craft. I love it because how you get around the wordplay. But to know like intentionally like they had to change their set, it didn't upset me, but it was like, damn. But at the same time, we'll see what's going to happen here. I want to see how this is going to go because they're all still naturally funny. So it's just like.
Were they racist as fuck?
Yes.
Okay. I was just trying to get to it.
I'm sorry, I bust out laugh. Yeah. It was definitely like, if you said gay at all, it was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or Joe has this one bit, I love it, and he had to change up his wordage, and I was just like, he didn't say balls.
I mean, also some of that's just about making money,
Yeah.
We're getting paid to tell jokes. I don't mind saying junk instead of balls. Like, it's still funny.
Were they all just like sitting there with their arms crossed, waiting to be mad? Like that was the vibe?
Sort of, yeah. There were some of them.
I'm waiting for you to piss me off so that I can say something terrible to you.
Yeah, and they weren't like confrontationally racist people. They're just, and they may not be racist people. They'll probably listen and be like, "We're not racist."
Which I'm saying you're not racist, but just be more loving because the kind of places that we go to hang out and to have a comedy show, no one should have their arms crossed.
Yeah.
You're already off the jump. Like, why are you here? Like, you don't have to be here. You're supposed to be here to have a good time, to laugh, let loose a little bit.
I just heard our friend Lisa Traeger talk about how she had someone booted from one of her shows because he was sitting in the front row with like stink face. And she was like, you got to go.
Oh, damn.
Fuck out. I'm not doing this for you sitting in the front row, giving me a fucking bad vibe. And I was like, amazing. Like, that would be amazing to just, say to someone, I don't like your vibe.
Yeah, you're killing it. Yeah. And then like one of the comedians, she was saying a joke about not wearing makeup to work to get out of if you don't wear makeup every day, you don't come to work with makeup one day, your boss will be like, ooh, feeling kind of ill. You want to go home. And she mentioned, not wearing makeup. One lady just yelled, amen, which I get. Granted, like a lot of people, they don't want to be wearing makeup. This is how you choose to live your life. Granted, I love that. Everybody can live their own walks of life. And if your daughter-in-law happened to be there just dressed up head to toe, Revlon and everything else, and you say that, is that like a short dig at like someone else there, not at the comedian? But we don't know that.
Yeah.
So it's like the hecklers, I envy not ever being a heckler.
Right. Yeah. Wild.
It's interesting to hear you all say that because I have not experienced that in my limited amount of shows in Anchorage, Ketchikan, Wasilla, and Sitka. But what I did notice was having been there when it's dark all the time, when it's light all the time, and then when there's day and night all the time. Yeah. Motherfuckers come out and they party hard and they drink and say yeah and celebrate life. Like people go out and do things in Alaska where I think like if you were to move here, it might feel very isolating and lonely at a certain point because you'd be like, oh my God, why is not everyone going and doing things? Like, it's very interesting to be in Alaska and see how many people get up and out of their house all the time if they can.
And then it's funny because we have a lot of transplants that will come from California all the way up to Alaska because they like hiking, but it's just, this is not a hiking kind of place. This is not a hiking kind of community in some places. So it's like...
Well, I got banned from hiking in Alaska.
What'd you do, Mike?
I was playing Evanescence out of my Bluetooth with my shirt off and lifting weights on the trails and screaming at the top of my lungs like manly
wake
shit.
Me.
Yeah, wake me up. And
and
anyone who was passing me, I kept hitting on them while they were walking past me. And so the ranger
I just saw you doing
up.
that last week in Runyon, Mike.
It went real well.
Yeah.
Like it's welcomed here.
You got some numbers?
Yeah. Here it's open arm welcome. Not so received well in Alaska. Yeah.
Oh,
He has a
man.
little scan tag on his hand. He just walks by and just has him scan that.
Yeah.
Wink, scan and wink, go on.
Follow me.
Well, we should get to Cream Corner
Oh
pretty
my
soon
God.
and start
Okay.
talking about some grub before we wrap here.
Can I set it up?
Please.
I'd like to set it up.
You got
Set it
to.
up. King of segues.
King of segues.
Serve it.
Segway T9.
So food. How about that?
How about that?
You're both great cooks.
Thank you.
We really bonded over the fact that we all went out to the bar, but you had left ribs at home on a low temp in the oven to come home to after the bar.
Yeah.
Pre thought out ribs. So I would just love to hear about like your own cooking experiences, and then if we can get into like your own techniques to catch fish, because I geek out over net making and stuff, and I think that's such a solid, cool thing to learn.
Fish.
Yeah. So maybe we can
Fish.
do home cook first, and then get into fisheries.
You want to go
Cooking.
first?
Talk about cooking.
Talk about cooking. God damn, we cook a lot.
She cooks too much.
He gets mad because I cook too much because
there's two of us.
it's only two of us right now, but it used to be a family of four because we had his lovely sister and my amazing nephew Cecil living with us. So like, he's a child. They're always growing. They're always needing food. And I like to be the torturous aunt of like, I'm going to make you like the most delicious like chocolate cake. But you're eating Brussels sprouts.
In the cake?
Not in the cake, but you're eating that before like you get, and he's like, I don't want to eat this.
Oh, I thought you were making chocolate cake out of Brussels sprouts, and I was like, holy shit.
I am not that talented. I'm going to say that.
Sneaky layer.
I'm a good cook, but hot damn, I'm not that good. But like, in growing up as a kid, I came from a military family. My dad was always out, and it was my mom with my brothers, and I'm 10 years younger. So she had to cook anything and everything, and there was no choice. You had to eat, or you're just going to hang out and just, that's all you're doing. So like, to just know I had to sit there all day at the table growing up that route was like, if I'm going to make any food, like I got to make it so people eat this, love it, lick the damn plate. Not saying I didn't lick the plate, Mom. I licked the damn plate a few times. I'm just saying, shout out to my mom because she can throw the hell down to where we call it Gloria Ann's kitchen. My mom's Gloria.
Ooh.
So she can throw the hell down. So my aspiration was always to be like her. I never cooked in the kitchen with her because I got in the way. Because I'm the one that's like looking over the pot, looking over your shoulder, and there's like, yeah, give me room. Like I need to move. You're in my way. So I like being in the way of people. I want to just see and, be served. So it's like, how do I recreate that? So as soon as I was 18 and moved out of the house, it was like, I have my own kitchen. I'm buying all the cereals. I'm mixing them all up.
Yes.
All the pea flavors.
Heck yeah. In a salad bowl.
And then like every so often, kiss up like, Mom, can we go to the commissary, get some good meat and stuff? And I would throw down and like make a little bit of like, get a whole steak and just cut it and like do certain things with it to like, nah, it tastes like shit. Throw it out. Nah, it tastes like shit. Throw it out. Okay, we're getting better.
Wait, you're cooking steak and throwing it out?
Because I oversalt. Who's gonna eat oversalted steak?
Okay.
Been there.
Yeah. And it's like at a certain point and you have roommates or people coming in a house, you're like, smelling good in there. Like, when are we going to eat? It's like, who said I'm cooking for you? Here's cereal and ramen. We're college kids. So.
What's your go-to dish now?
Ooh, what is my go-to dish?
Meat,
The
veg.
thing with everything in it.
Yeah. Everything's going in it. Sharina's
a
surprise.
fridge bowl.
Yeah.
Fridge bowl to like, okay, I want to get rid of this, but I don't know how to do anything. So like, one day I pulled out, was it black beans, ground turkey,
Ooh.
sweet potatoes,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. And he's
Spinach.
like, spinach. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. And that was the one time I was like, dude, you have to trust me. You have. I learned this from my creator. I will say, Lita. She helped me get into the massage world, and she was the one that's like grounded me a lot of times because like I was overthinking at times a lot, like about eating and like making it taste good. She's like, food is just meant to like get you to go. As long as you have the right foods in that bowl or plate in front of you, you're golden. It may not taste the best because not everything's going to taste the best, but your body got what it needed to keep going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a mess of shit, it better taste somewhat good like a mess of shit, but it may look crappy, but he ate the hell out of it.
Feel good, look good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Food is fuel. I would trust your fridge bowl anytime. Mike's, not so much. He mixes, I don't even want, you can.
I'll show you pictures after this
Yeah.
of some of my
I'm
classic
excited.
fridge
It's going to be
bowls.
green?
Not usually.
Okay.
A lot of sauces.
A lot of sauces.
A lot of different gloops.
Oh,
Facial expressions going wild right now.
Can I hear about your salmon fishing, please? Because Mike
salmon
has
fishing.
told me
Let's
about.
talk about salmon fishing.
I want to hear about your specific
Mine.
way of salmon fishing because Mike's told me a little bit about it.
Yeah. So I moved to Alaska from Ohio, where I grew up fishing. So fishing was always something that my family did as like a thing, as a cheap form of entertainment. I didn't know we were poor. So we would go fishing because you could do it for hours. And I just didn't know, like I would run around the lake. My parents could sit there and drink and I'd be fine. So when I moved to Alaska, I wanted to keep fishing, but fishing in Alaska is a lot different than fishing down in the lower 48, as we call it. It's a lot of like rod and pole fishing down in the lower 48 with like worms and lakes and stuff like that. And you can do that in Alaska. It's just people don't really do that as much because it's inefficient to fill your freezer for the winter.
Yeah.
So the thing that I did after a few years of fishing with a pole with people, doing the combat fishing where you're kind of fly fishing 5 feet away from somebody else who's also fly fishing, and you're doing it in the same rhythm so that you guys don't cross lines, and then you're getting your fish and getting out before you cross lines or before a bear shows up to take your fish.
Yep.
That stuff got real old and tiring because also there's a limit on that's real low. It's usually like 4 or 5 fish, and they'll adjust it depending on the counts. But my favorite way to do it is to wait until July and to apply for a permit for a subsistence dip netting permit, where you can get a hoop that's a 4-foot hoop with a net. It's like the size of a hula hoop, and then there's a fishing net on it, and then it's on the end of a 14-foot pole, and you put on chest waders and walk into the edge of the ocean and set your net there, and then you wait for a salmon to swim into it.
Flip it, drag it in.
And you take it in and club it.
And you just schwink them out like a cartoon?
Yep.
I mean,
they fight. They fight back a little bit.
Drag it all the way back to the shore and pull it out.
It's heavy after a minute because you're fighting the currents coming in as well, and like the mucky crap water you're walking in as well.
And these are coho coming in, or kings, or what are you catching?
Silvers and kings sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes they'll let you keep the kings, not always though. But I mean, yeah, of king salmon. King salmon, they can get 30 plus pounds. So if you have a strong 30-pound fish that's horny and going to go breed upstream and you're trying to pull him away from that, like it is.
Oh, he's fighting.
It's a thing, yeah. And then sometimes, when it's a big, we call it a big run, like when there's a large amount of them coming in, because that's what they're doing. They're coming in to come and spawn and die. They're swimming from the ocean into the freshwater, and we're standing at the mouth of that river catching them before they get a chance to go breed.
And we're going on the tides. The low tides, and they go out and come in. So
sometimes you can catch 2 or 3 in your net at once.
Whoa.
Yep.
So we'll get
it's like 100 pounds of fish.
So you can be hauling that back in by yourself until whoever else on the beach that has a free hand to help you drag it back in.
You're like stealing a 9-year-old boy
Mm-hmm.
out of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Taking him. Snatch it up.
Wow. Yeah, then you cut them up and eat them.
Yeah, that's
cut them up and eat them.
Bat that head first because they
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. So you're catching those how many are you allowed at a time with that?
So it depends on your household because it's a subsistence. So you're supposed to be catching this fish to stock your freezer and live off of it year round. You're not supposed to sell this stuff. You have to cut your fish differently once you pull it out of the water to show that this is subsistence caught rather than net caught or commercial
caught. So you're not
caught.
filleting it?
Yeah, I still will fillet some of it. We usually will we kind of rough clean it there. You don't want to wash your fish in that water because it's really gross. So a lot of people just kind of gut them, take them home, and then fillet them and clean them, prep them, vacuum seal half of it, can half of it, smoke a lot of it.
But how do you show the difference between it being subsistence or commercial with a cut?
Usually you cut the tails, you clip the tails so it's subsistence.
So what you bring is besides the big ass hoop is a bucket, a bludger, knife set, and scissors. So as soon as you get in, there's usually the crew on the shore that's not going to do anything. The crew that goes to the water. Once you bring your fish onto the shore, if I'm your teammate, I'll clip the tail. Like I'll bludgeon it, get it out of the net for you, clip the tail while you go take your net and you go back in to go keep catching.
Because they're coming in.
Yep. And so it depends on who you're going with. You can either go ahead and fillet it right then and there, or just cut it, put it in the bucket, and wait for the next one to come in. Because depending how, if they come in like one every like 20 minutes, you have time. You can probably go ahead and fillet that. Versus they come in 3 at a net at a time. And he went back out, and as soon as I get done putting the last fish in the bucket, he's coming back in. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
You're cutting this so if like Fish and Wildlife comes along, you just
cut this.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a fine, and they'll take your license. You can't do it again next year, which is lame. I mean, that's a lot of fish.
But also the fact that I was blown away when I was like, I would just go do it. And you were like, you really can't. Like, you had the honor of honoring the rules of the wildlife is like so important. And
stewards
I learned
of the land, right?
Stewards of the land. I learned like what a fucking, I'm just like, no, fuck, I do what I want. I don't, and it's like, no,
we are wild. We do a lot of wild off the cuff stuff, but like we follow
end our friendship, man.
we have to follow some rules because it's just some things you don't do. Just respectful.
Welcome to We weed and poaching.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't do none of that.
Weed and poaching.
Yeah.
I would tune in for an episode or two, you know.
But like we take Cecil now with us, and he's like, "Why are we doing this?" I'm like, "This is like for our family. Like instead of going to the grocery store and spending all this stuff, like not wasting our money, but like I could just come out here and catch dinner for like the next couple of weeks, or to send to my friends and family for Christmas presents because I mean the market's crazy for the salmon as it is." And it's just like, he's like, "It takes forever." It's like, yeah, but this is how we grew up. It's not in front of your TV and the tablet, like nature. Be one with everything out here and respect the land, respect what we're doing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super important. I mean, that's one of the music festivals that I mentioned, Salmon Fest. That's why it was started, was to help defend the headwaters of the Bristol Bay rivers. And they're constantly under attack I feel like that's a political term, but like there's constantly, you know, these giant mining companies that are like, we want to come, we want to head to like as far in as we can with this river, and then we just want to just fuck it up as much as we can, because we're going to get a couple of $1,000,000 of copper, and then we're just going to fucking leave it and go to the next one and do the same thing. And it's like, these salmon, we need them, our people need them, our kids are going to need them, our grandkids are going to need them. I don't know if we need that copper for some cell phones. Just why don't you wait until you can fucking wrangle an asteroid and figure that shit out? Like,
Yeah.
do that. Let's respect the land. Like Salmon Fest thing was started where they were like, we need to fight this in like a massive way. So they're like, let's get a bunch of hippies together in the woods and start this music festival. We'll get them all to sign this petition and we can stop it. And that's how that thing was started, which is pretty fucking cool, I think.
That's super
awesome.
fucking cool.
Mhm.
Fucking yes to the hippies.
Yeah.
The outlaws, right?
They
Everyone
throw-
thinks the
throw
hippies are like
down.
peaceful, and no, they're fucking outlaw renegades who get shit done.
And again, the same thing. They'll let you talk, but they're going to talk right back at you about why you're wrong or why you are right, and understand your way of thinking. But this is how it's going to be, and this is how it's going to stay. Because why? Why would we need to change it?
I really love too hearing you talk about it being a family thing and that the women are just as involved as the men, because I just got into it with some dude the other day who I said, "Oh, you're a fisherman." It was in the comments on a video I'd made. And I said, "I see you're a fisherman. That really sucks because I wanted to believe you were a good person because you fish. But anyway, you seem like a fucking dick. So whatever." And then he wrote back to me and he's like, "Well, yeah, I fish, but if you like, men aren't the only ones who fish. If you want to know about women who fish, you should look up this." And then he named like a famous fisherwoman. And I was like, "I fish, dick. Like I worked on it. Why are you assuming?" Anyway,
Yeah.
getting into it with bros, my most recent pastime. That said, when we go to Alaska, I feel like we've had this conversation a few times. We don't feel like we're encountering the same landscape of like weird sexist assumptions that exist down here with roles that are very defined. Because in Alaska, it feels like if you live there, you have to be strong no matter who you are, no
Strong
matter what you
mindset.
do, and have to be like able to take care of yourself and your family, whether you're a dude or a woman or a fucking what. Like it just seems
It's
like
teamwork.
yeah.
It's all about teamwork. Is how you make it go. You can't do it by yourself. You can, but it's hard. You can always lean on somebody else, and that's why you have that big community outreach to help out and do these things too. Hey, can we throw an event to help raise money for Children of Covenant House this summer or winter for XYZ projects going on, to the taxes given back to help out for after school communities, for after school programs? That's an amazing thing that the marijuana brings to the land as well for our state. I like that aspect, but from that to berry picking to everything else you can do for Alaska, it's so amazing. I love it.
That's so cool. I have one last question because I don't know when we're all going to be able to do a podcast together again.
We'll come back next week. It's cool.
Great. I've been looking forward to this so much for so long. And I am high from that Lady Grey, and I can feel my energy sinking into this couch in a really lovely way. So you were saying that you make your own salmon nets, correct?
I mean, I've repaired them.
And repaired them?
Yeah.
Why would you go circle hula hoop instead of triangle, so that the bottom of the triangle has like a lot of width to it, so that fish would swim into the corners of the net instead of just a circle?
These are great questions, Mike. And I don't know.
Yes.
We're not those kind of scientists.
There are people out there with nets, like when you're dip netting, you'll see a lot of different styles.
hexagon.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a homemade
I see all-
one.
yeah,
It's
all
usually
shapes.
hexagon, where someone will use a conduit bender to turn, some electrical pipe into a fishing net.
Oh shit.
And then I've seen a square one, and then something that's close to what you're talking about, the semicircle, which is they lay the flat part on the bottom of and then there's a hoop that kind of comes up. I don't know. I
I'd be
don't really know
curious
if
to know.
one is more effective than the other. I know that I've had to drag a net full of 4 fish out of the water. So I don't, and I never saw somebody with a square net do that. So I don't know.
Fucking truth.
There you
Okay, bet. And also, it was either you or Zach. Shout out to Zach. He was saying, or you were saying, that there's also another kind of netting where you lay across the river or whatever instead, like, and it's almost like you see people laying and swimming across it. Am I making that up?
Like a set net?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people sort of do that. It's more like a boat style fishing. I don't know if you were doing set netting or.
I was with the troll fishery. I was a tender for the troll fleet. So
Okay.
yeah, I just watched all the other like net. I've never worked with a net.
Yeah, so that's it's called set netting, where you have a long net that's like a curtain, of sorts, and you just drop it at one end. You take it over here, you drop it, fish swim into it, and then they kind of just go over there and they pull the net up and just pull the fish out of it. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Almost like a noose on a tree with a little treat under a cardboard box.
Yes, it's very noose-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Right on.
Catch them all.
Good weed. Cool.
We should probably do buds of the week and wrap because we got
fine.
places to
I
go,
know.
things to do.
All right.
Next
Puff
Wednesday.
cons to see,
Yeah.
comedy shows to do.
Puff cons to see, and also you were talking about Kogi truck. You
Yeah,
gotta do it.
Koji, please.
You
Roy
gotta do
Troy.
Yeah, you have to.
And that's a lot of
Well,
things we do up there as well. Is like we binge on the food, bro. We are so good, and people are like, "How is the food so good here?" It's like all this snow and winter, we're just inside all day long. Like you better have that shit on point. The
For real.
food's been good here too. It's pretty amazing.
This
I
is
love
a great food city.
it. Yeah.
The grow local, the farmers market, just they're here and they're great. But like the way that you all support each other, growing and purchasing locally is a different level, completely different
Because
level.
we're not part of the lower 48. You guys cut off Alaska and Hawaii for all the stuff.
Yeah.
We take care of our own up there.
This is a great time to shout out Ranch, invented in Alaska.
That's right.
Come
More
on,
food
now.
history from.
Yeah, I am a food history comedian now. Shout out to Ranch.
Ranch or salad dressing goes on a Cobb salad.
Boy, I think it might be
Isn't
a
it
blue
Thousand-
cheese or Thousand.
I think it's
Island.
at Thousand Island.
Yeah.
You like
Yeah, but
Yeah.
shout out to Ranch and Alaska making it.
History.
Yeah. All right, buds.
okay, yeah. Buds of the week. Can I go first?
Yeah, please.
For my bud of the week this week, oh wait, no, where's my damn phone? See, those cookies work. Our Artistic Mayhems, who is Irene at Artistic Mayhems on IG, and Irene is just fun and cool, and wrote after we were like screaming about pumpkin spice lattes, saying, "I understand you're mad about it. Why don't you just have a peppermint mocha and calm down?" And I was like, okay, it's true. I could just, instead of being all fucking pent up about pumpkin spice lattes, I could go to Phil's Coffee and I could get that mint mocha situation, and I could just be calm in my heart. And then Irene also said, "I like your sandwich videos. Don't give up." And I was like, okay, thank you. So shout out at Artistic Mayhems. Thank you, Irene.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My bud of the week, they've been a bud of the week recently, but I really don't care. It's at Captain Quick Pick. Shout out to Ben. He's the man. I love him so much. Also, shout out to his girlfriend, Michaela. Also, just a dynamite human being. And then I'm doing a double up. I already brought him up once, but I'm going to bring him up again. You know what it is. Shout out to AK.Terps, the man, the myth, the legend. Zach, love you, homie. Ben, love you, homie. Great buds. Can't wait for y'all to come through LA as well.
My buds of the week would be the Tundra Company from Fairbanks, Alaska. They make these amazing Tundra spritzers. They're nano emulsified, so they take on a lot quicker for your edible high to kick in. You don't need a whole lot to go a long way. It helps you get into your also, mixologist self of, mint or whether kind of chamomile you want to put in to your drink of choice. And I love them. Also using all Alaskan made ingredients. So cranberries, the blueberries, all getting that homemade. So shout out to them. And who else am I going to be shout out to? Shout out to the local comedians of Anchorage in Alaska as well. You guys are all funny as fuck. I love you all. I can't list you all because that's going to take too damn long, but I love you all. Thank you guys.
Nice.
My bud of the week, I'm probably going to be kind of cheesy here, but it's going to be Sharina. This is like the biggest trip that we've taken together. So like, it's kind of cool just to be able to like, I don't know if you guys have ever traveled with a significant other, but I've done it before, and the last time I did it, it was a fucking nightmare. This trip's been so fucking cool, you know, where you just like vibe with somebody, you're just like, cool, well, let's go do this. And they're like, okay, cool. But can we do this while we do this? And you're like, I don't give a shit. Like, we're just here experiencing shit together, like rolling with the punches. This was like a random thing where I wanted to go to PuffCon, and now we're like, you know, we have the show at the Improv, and we're doing this, and we saw Weed and Grub live last night. Shout out to Caitlin Gill. That shit was hilarious. Jesus Trejo. It's the sweets are life. Like,
thank you, Tiffany, as well. Tiffany Grivas for all the flowers. Those were fucking amazing flowers. And both your sets of flowers were amazing as well.
Thank you.
But thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you guys for like bringing your podcast on the road like that. I don't know if it touches other people, but like meeting you guys that first comedy festival and doing that stuff, and then like following your career, seeing you do Grasslands, and me being like, oh shit, we can do music festivals now. So that was sort of like what inspired me to like chase those music festivals up here. So thank you guys.
Yeah, I should shout out you guys as well, because that got me to massaging some amazing rap artists and musicians out here in the world that I would never have had a chance to ever meet, because I didn't know that was a thing as well. And he's like, I'm going to do a festival. Mike, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Let me try to jump on this, because who doesn't want to fucking massage?
For real.
Fuck yes.
For real.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then lastly, for everyone listening, be careful with nanotechnology. I tried it once and I shrank to
always
the
ask.
size of a thimble.
The nano-emulsification made you a tiny
It
person?
made me shrink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you go to the weed stores, no question is a dumb question. I do not care. I do not care. It is not dumb. Ask me before you go home and have that bad trip to where you're calling your friend at 3:00 in the morning in the closet tripping balls. Just let us be there to help you, and all the budtenders and people out there in the world in our industry. Just be more patient at times. We get it. We all work retail. It does suck some days, but we are there for the people to continue this amazing flower that's helping all of us.
Fuck yes. That's a mic drop right there.
Yeah, it is.
Perfect.
Follow us at Weed and Grub on Instagram.
Our email is wg@weedandgrub.com.
TikTok at Mike and Mary Jane. Check out this one on YouTube.
Yeah. And our website. What else do I drop? LinkedIn? MySpace. Friendster?
Vote for us at the EmJays.
Oh, yes. Fuck. Vote for us at the EmJays. Please go to the link in our bio. We are up for Best Cannabis Podcast at the International Cannabis Awards. The EmJays are going to be in Las Vegas on November 30th. And we also have some cool news coming up around that awards show that we will share with you very soon.
Yeah. I think this app's going to put us over the top.
You think so?
I know so.
I feel it.
Congratulations to you guys on your future win here. I'm just going to go ahead and put that into the universe.
Thank you.
MJ getting an MJ.
You know we have the same
My
initials.
Glazer getting that Glaze.
MJG.
We're both MJGs.
Yeah, I forgot that shit. Damn.
Thank you both for real for being here.
Thank you for having us.
This is
Thank you.
awesome.
It's been a
Appreciate
pleasure.
Thanks,
it.
producer Mark and Petty Cash Studios.
Thank
you,
you,
Mark.
Bye.
Mic check, mic check.